Okay, so you want to own a car dealership. Rows of gleaming machines, balloons on Saturday, and a fat commission every time keys change hands. Salespeople hustling, customer signing, inventory flying. What could be better than selling the most expensive thing people buy after their house? Here's the problem. The showroom is a magic trick. A dealership is not really a car business. It is a bank with a repair shop attached. And the cars? The cars are just the bait. First, the price of the dream. You rarely build a new car franchise, you buy one that exists. And the goodwill alone, what the industry calls blue sky, averaged around $19 million per store in 2025. That is the invisible part. 3 to 8 times the store's earnings depending on the brand before you touch the land or the building. Then the manufacturer hands you the image program. Mandatory showroom upgrades, typically 1 to 3 million more. There are only about 17,000 of these franchises in America. They're expensive because they print money. Usually. Too rich? There is a side door. The independent used car lot. A bare-bones operation can start for as little as $30,000. A properly stocked lot in a decent location runs $100,000 to $500,000. You will need a dealer license and a surety bond with a face value of $10,000 to $100,000. Relax. You only pay a small premium for it, a few hundred to a few thousand a year. The catch is different here. No brand, no factory support, just you, your judgment, and whatever rolls across the auction block. Now, meet the machine that runs every dealership. Floor plan financing. Nearly every new car on that lot is bought with borrowed money. And the meter runs daily. At today's rates, one new vehicle costs roughly $150 to $300 a month, just in interest, while it sits there. Multiply by 200 cars. And it gets worse. After 2021, the industry's floor plan interest bills roughly tripled. Public dealer groups went from about $126 million a year to over $360. Every sunrise, every unsold car on your lot quietly eats your lunch. Time for the industry's best-kept secret. The new car itself makes you almost nothing. In the late 2010s, the average store actually lost a few $100s per new car sold before factory incentives patched the hole. Read that again. You hand over a $40,000 machine, and the sale itself can leave you underwater. So why does anyone sell new cars at all? Because the car is not the product. The car is the door, and what walks through that door is worth far more than the metal. So let's follow one sale all the way through. A customer signs for that $40,000 SUV. The car itself? Call it zero profit. Then they walk into a small office in the back, the F&I office. Finance and insurance, the loan gets arranged there with a markup on the rate. The extended warranty, gap insurance, paint protection. That little room adds $1,500 to $2,500 of gross profit to the deal. At the big dealer groups, it runs around $2,400. The showroom sold the car. The back office sold the money. Here's a twist even car people get wrong. Before the pandemic, used cars were the better per-car moneymaker. Higher margin, less factory interference. Then 2021 flipped the table. Ever since, new cars have outgrossed used cars per unit, and the used bargains dried up at auction. The lesson is not which one wins. The lesson is that the ground moves. A dealership is a business where your best product can quietly become your worst one in a single year, for reasons made in Detroit, Washington, or Tokyo, not on your lot. And now, the quiet giant, the service department. Oil changes, brake jobs, warranty work, parts. It is only 11 to 13% of a dealership's revenue, but it generates close to half of the store's total gross profit. Dealers track a number called absorption, how much of the store's entire overhead the service department can cover by itself. At a healthy store, service nearly pays the rent, the lights, and the salaries before a single car is sold. The showroom is the stage. The service bays are the engine room. But remember whose name is on the sign. The manufacturer decides which cars you get and how many. The manufacturer mandates the $1 million showroom remodels. And the manufacturer would love to sell without you entirely. Tesla already does. Straight to the customer, no franchise at all. In Europe, some brands are testing the agency model, where the factory owns the car and sets the price, and the dealer becomes a delivery desk. The only wall holding that back in America is a stack of state franchise laws. Your business model is protected by legislation. Think about how comfortable that should make you feel. If that sounds theoretical, ask the class of 2009. When Chrysler went bankrupt, it terminated 789 dealerships, essentially overnight by letter. General Motors followed within days, sending wind-down notices to more than 1,000 of its own stores. Nearly 2,000 American dealerships, some in the same family for 3 generations, cut loose in a single week. Their buildings, their staff, their inventory, suddenly orphaned. The franchise that printed money for 50 years turned out to be a piece of paper another company could tear up. And sometimes the wound is self-inflicted. Lubbock, Texas, 2018. Reagor-Dykes, one of the fastest-growing auto groups in the country. Ben Ford's finance arm looked closely at the floor plan. Cars financed twice. Cars sold weeks earlier and never reported. A scheme called selling out of trust. Checks bouncing between accounts to fake balances. The group collapsed almost overnight, and the guilty pleas piled up afterward. Remember the machine from earlier? Floor plan financing runs on trust, audited weekly. Lose the lender's trust, and the cars on your lot stop being inventory. They become evidence. Then came the whiplash decade. During the COVID shortage, dealers lived a fantasy. Empty lots, full sticker, and the average store's profit blew past $3 million a year. Then 2024 arrived. Inventory returned. Floor plan interest came roaring back. The average gross on a new car fell by roughly a third from the peak. And in June, a ransomware attack on CDK Global, the software running the back office of some 15,000 dealerships, knocked them onto paper and pens for about 2 weeks. The lesson of the decade? In this business, the good years are a loan. The market always collects. Now run the same store through 2 years. The good year. Allocation is strong. The S&I office hums. Service absorption near 100%, and the store hands the owner a 7-figure profit. The realistic year. Rates stay high, so every unsold car bleeds interest. The factory announces a new image program, your share, 7 figures. A recall clogs your service bays with warranty work at factory rates. And 200 cars sit through a slow quarter with the meter running. Same sign, same street. The swing between those 2 years can be worth more than most small businesses earn in a decade. So, should you buy a dealership? If you can stomach $19 million goodwill, a factory that owns your future, and a lot full of borrowed metal eating interest at Sunrise, it remains one of the great cash machines in American business. Just know what you actually bought. You are not selling cars, you are renting money, selling peace of mind, and fixing what you sold. The car was never the product. The car was the introduction.